Hey everybody, sorry for the late night look. It's a little late. This is a post about the 5 principles of strength-based education. As a coach, a lot of these principles are things that I would try and implement with my program. So they're going to be a little bit different from the classroom, but I think you could still use them. One of the things that I was really surprised about is how old this is, considering that today a lot of your biggest tech giants and people are telling you just focus on your strengths, forget about everything else. So the first one is measurement. We did something that was a point system, and you could earn points all week. We did it with each athlete, and we gave points for attitude, effort, time improvement, but mostly about cheering and being a good teammate. And we kept a leaderboard, and we did a top 10. And at the end of the year, I take the top 10, and we go do lunch or an ice cream or something like that. And I thought goal setting would be in there because of wellness and hope and that type of stuff. But actually, that fits much more under individualization. We did goal setting, and we did it in small increments every 2 weeks, every 2 meets, every 2 months, because I think it's good to have small intermittent goals, and then obviously a large goal that goes over the course of a semester or a year or a season. Um, but so we would do that, and the other thing we do is we make sure that each of our athletes specialized in something, whether it be a stroke or turn or a start, and then we would film that, and we'd film it multiple times during the year, and we'd create their own YouTube channel. So it was something that they had, was a little unique to them, and that kind of also fell under networking a little bit. So the next one was networking, and we did something called Give 'em Three. And what I would make every coach do, we'd usually have 4 to 7 coaches on the deck, and you're talking about 50 athletes in the water. And we would literally go, and each of us would rotate, and you'd have to pull a kid out of the water, tell them 3 positive things that you really liked that you saw either in the past week or yesterday or that day, and you just tell them, hey, here's the 3 things I really liked. Hey, you did a nice job yesterday. You worked real hard. Hey, I heard you did a really good job on your test, and I really liked how you helped out your teammate yesterday, or you cheered for your teammate. So you'd give them 3, and then the next coach would pick somebody out, and then the next coach, next coach, next coach, until you got back to you again. So I think that's something that was kind of fun, and it was something that we did about once a week, once every 2 weeks. Um, the next thing is deliberate application. Uh, what we did with this is we really wanted to have kind of a peer review, and for their teammates to really celebrate them. So at the end of the week, the upperclassmen would get together and they would vote. They get everyone, so all the men would get in the men's locker room, all the women would get in the women's locker room. The men called it the hard hat award, and they actually had a construction hat that they gave to the person. And the girls called it the golden goggles. And so, and they would vote every week on who was the best teammate, who worked the hardest, who was making the sacrifices to achieve their goals. And it rotated every week, and sometimes people got 2, but at the end of the year, someone would win the award. And that person every year at the banquet the next year would give the award to the winner of the year. So you could win it individually during the weeks, but there was one winner every year who actually was responsible for, the goggles that were painted gold, or the hard hat that wound up having some stickers that were borderline, uh, you know, PC. So, and the last one is intentional development. And that was something where we did buddy day. And I know this has a lot to do about strengths, but for us, we would buddy up 2 people with opposite strengths. So someone who was really good, let's say freestyle, and that person was terrible at breaststroke, then we'd pair them with a breaststroker who was really good at breaststroke but terrible at freestyle. So we would do a practice, and they would have to do each other's strengths and do each other's weaknesses, but they would also have to do 15 minutes every hour, and we usually had a 2-hour practice, where they would work on each individual component of their strength, or which is an opposite is their weakness. So that way, it got them working together. It got one person talking with another person, and we would do this, and you'd pick the same partner, and you'd do it over an extended period. So, we might do it once every 2 weeks, but we would do it over, a cycle, like an 8-week cycle or a 6-week cycle. And then we would switch, and it didn't matter boy, boy, girl, 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 boy. It just mattered what your strength was, and you found the opposite person who had that exact weakness, and you work together. So those are the 5 things that we did in our program, and hopefully you might be able to use one of them. All right, you guys, good night. Talk to you later.